What up, y'all? Real Life Ray here. It is officially November 22nd. We are in the... Y'all know what room this is, and I'm a little brain dead as hell. Anyway, as y'all know, I'm going to be alone for Thanksgiving. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be kind of doing my own thing. And then, what's this? Yeah. That's what we're doing. We're going to start decorating the azalea room and the ivy garden room tonight. Start with some lights, some other stuff. And yeah, I'll keep this quick. So this is going to be a really long video. We're going to get ready to harvest our crops. We'll be moving in our plants, Cora+Lilly, into smaller plots. And we'll be killing off Howard and Steve, unfortunately. Sorry, Zach. I know you loved Howard and Steve, but they do not like winter. And it turns out I can overwinter my Cora+Lilly without killing them off. So we basically killed off Howard and Steve, put them in the pots that we cannibalized, and basically put them into our apartment and moved around Kalia, our kale plants. Anyway, y'all, I love y'all. Take care. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope my yearly video of Asheville didn't really piss off a lot of people. I'm sorry. I was just kind of making it a little bit more personal rather than something that's, I guess, digestible for the majority of people who would consider moving into Asheville. And it was just kind of generalized to myself. But I hope that was all right, and I hope it wasn't too depressing. I hope y'all still got a lot of useful information from that as well. I think I'm doing better. I think the vlogging and talking with y'all and other types of stuff is really made my life a lot better, especially cutting back on RuneScape video editing and stuff like that, where I spend like 200 hours to make one video. That really helped me a lot in terms of getting mentally better, I guess. I don't know, I kind of really want to make this quick because I just want to get this transferred over to my computer so I can have it render while I do this. So yeah, enjoy the video. It's going to be a bit more ASMR, that's why it's super long. Hope you enjoy the After Effects. If not, just don't watch the video or enjoy it in the background. Nature ASMR, yo. Peace. So right now is 17:25. So we are going to go ahead and head home for the day since we are done. We'll probably come back later to eat dinner, make dinner, and then probably work on some editing, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to edit in peace or go to a reasonable hour to sleep tonight. All the stuff I never have factors for. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, I think, for the day. I don't want these right in here. That would be a pain in the ass, to be honest. I'm sorry. Alright, so we are done with the garden. We are done recycling for the day. I guess let's go talk about what I'm nervous about. So for those who don't know, I don't particularly do a lot of research. I don't typically have a lot of friends, so I don't really interact with a lot of people. So that said, if you expect me to have television, I don't have television, and I don't have a Netflix subscription. So I have no idea what I'm to be expected when I go into Hannah's Squid Game. I don't even know what that is really. But I am feeling nervous because I have an IQ of 54. And I don't really know what to expect in terms of how a Squid Game goes. And then after the Squid Game, we'll probably meet up with Oak Dice. And we'll start recording more of Rei Does number 20 with him for him. Doing the Halloween event on Old School RuneScape. I think that's going to be it. Probably see y'all on the vlog later. But yeah, I don't expect to go very far. I don't expect to win the first game. I expect to lose the first game. And I don't expect to really amount to a whole much. And probably going to lose the whole thing. But at least we can say that we tried, we did our best, and we competed. Onwards. So, I just spent the last 3 hours or some sort of hours essentially just on a call with Oak Dice, and we were going through Hannah's freaking Squid Game over here in the corner. And we just basically re-answered everything. These are what we have now. Let me show you. These are my revised answers. Most of them basically just stayed the same, but some of them are re-edited. So I'm curious if she's going to disqualify me for re-editing them and going back to making sure. But, that's why I am a content creator and I, was recording. It's going on YouTube, that is going into Rei Does number 20. And basically me and Oak Dice were playing detective. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. Y'all, it is the 3rd of November, and it is 43 degrees right now, and I don't have an over jacket to wear, really. It's not like a really winterized jacket, and it is an extremely foggy day. And we are still wearing sunglasses. As y'all know, I am extremely light sensitive. So with these on, it still seems really, really bright and distracting. So I literally need to wear these sunglasses. So weather's kind of a little bit meh. It is time for me to start harvesting materials today. And we only have about an hour, maybe hour and a half of sunlight before the sun completely goes down. And I can't see anything of what I'm harvesting. So we're going to go ahead and get back to the end since today was an extremely easy day and we only had to work one of our jobs. And I actually got to sleep 4 or 6 hours last night when I woke up today, and I could sleep in and I can come in here. Because it's about 4 something p.m. right now. So we'll go head back home. I'll get probably another jacket to put on, get some gloves to start picking into the soil. And then I guess we'll kind of go from there and see what freaking happens, to be honest. I know I want to try and save the peppers and see if they will continuously grow. Because I'm curious to see how many peppers I can get before they end up stop producing flowers. It seems those grow lights are pretty effective. And even for indirect light for my indoor plants, it seems to be pretty effective. But yeah, the first frost is coming in. Supposedly it was supposed to be Friday night. I looked at now, Friday night is now listed as 38 degrees instead of 32. The problem is I can't really harvest my tubers, my beets, or my sweet potatoes or my russet potatoes until the first frost comes in. That means it gets 32 and below, because that's supposed to add flavor to it. But I don't think I want to take the chances in not harvesting my potatoes after the frost. I'm just going to go ahead and pull them the day before. Today is Wednesday, if you didn't figure that out by now. So on Friday evening, we'll go and pull them out and see what happens. But we are going to go ahead and harvest out my peppers and my tomato plants. I'm going to drag them up into the loft, and then I'll see if I can get anything else situated around and get them taken care of. I want to have my tomatoes mature first before killing off my my tomato plants. Because they require a pollinator to make tomatoes, and I know they will not do that inside my house, but I still want them to finish making the current tomatoes that they are currently doing. So I'm just going to drag them into my apartment. I may regret that later, but we will see what happens. Onwards. Okay, so I will be honest, this is the first day I've had in the last 2 weeks that I've actually was able to not have to work like from 8 a.m. to like 2:30 in the morning. So my brain is fried. So I actually have to take a look at all my plants here in terms of harvesting times and scheduling first before I start just pulling stuff out of the ground first. So this is like a weird situation I found my in once I discovered what I have and what I don't have. I hope if I come up with a plan soon, it's not going to fry my mental health any more than it already has, trying to struggle and figure out the mental gymnastics of the logistics of my plants here. So give me maybe like 5 or 10 minutes to figure out what I want to pull out right now at this instant and what to do after that point. Because here we have the parsley plant that we've been graciously growing generously. That is, I don't know if it's going to survive cold temperatures if I leave it out here. I'm not sure if I should just harvest it all right now and then dry it later and divvy it out, because that's just what I do. I know that the beets and the russet potatoes and the sweet potatoes are tubers, so it's good to leave them out in the ground until the first frost and then harvest them later, putting them in a basement. But not sure about the tomatoes. I gotta figure that one out. Okay, I figured out what I'm gonna do. I had to take a look at the tomatoes first. This was literally what my tomatoes were making when they were coming to the end of the line. I don't know if you can notice this, but this is like brown compared to this green or blue. That means that this isn't getting any water to this root, so there's no point in leaving them on here. They're not going to grow anymore. So I'm gonna pull this off. And these ones right here are still technically growing. That's a green root. That means they're getting moisture. But I had decided that we're not gonna take this all off because I'm gonna need these for Cora and Lily there, because Cora and Lily are peppers that'll still continuously grow. I don't believe they're self-pollinated, so at some point they will not grow any more peppers, and at that point then I can take them out to the field, use them as fertilizer. But we're gonna go ahead and take these. I did look up a recipe on how to go about eating these types of tomatoes that are not ripe and not prepared and not like, I just dropped it. And what people do is they deep fry them or something like that. They fry them and then I guess they eat it. Did I crack this open? Oh, I did when it fell. That's how fun. Maddie! Where you been? Hey, that was Maddie. And which, if you don't, I mean, you should know who Maddie is by the time that you see this vlog in the future. But if you don't know who Maddie is, Maddie's my bestie. Keeps me sane. Anyway, she was sick like the whole week while I was working the 8 a.m. to like 2:30 in the morning shifts. and then coming home and maybe getting like 2 hours of sleep or like 4 hours of sleep. And she was sick while I was also being sick, but we were both working our own jobs and our own shifts and our own hours. But me, I was like, we're 8 a.m. to like 2:30 in the morning for 3 different jobs is like a pain in the ass. Like, I do not recommend that. If you can afford to make income elsewhere with fewer number of jobs, fewer number of hours, that's probably for you. That's not for me. But anyway, so she's doing a hell lot better. I think she's gonna come back, and then we have to give her that this 2 things. She's probably gonna hate me for it. I mean, she'll like one of them, she'll hate the other one probably, but she's looking at me. She's driving off. I wave to her. She's going to Chick-fil-A. I don't logically support Chick-fil-A, but I'm not. For Maddie, like I'm not gonna judge. I will judge the institution of Chick-fil-A, but that's about it. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and take these up. We'll go ahead and add them to the fertilizer bin. And then I think what we'll do from there is we'll put Cora and Lily over there into these pots, and we'll take it up to the apartment. So I kind of already like pulled out the cage from here, and I kind of regret doing that because this looks so cool to do this. But like that vine, you can see that without this cage, this would not have been able to stand up by itself. So these are important. So I know that next year to use these cages quicker than never. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and pull this out. Oh my god, that is a big root system. Let me just... Alright. You know what I want to do with this is I just kind of want to like horse it down a little bit. And this is to like ensure like uniformity, if that makes sense. I have no idea what the hell I'm saying, to be honest. Now this one. You want to pull out this extra root that's been stuck down here as well. There we go. And we'll do the same thing with this as well. It does look like it propagated a little bit. Because I don't know if you remember, I just pulled out something that was kind of similar to like a tomato baby sapling. You know, a while back ago I tried to propagate, and then the next day it just did not propagate back into the same soil that it was in. So I just like threw it out over to the over yonder. Now, this bed over here that I'm pointing to isn't really too good. The soil's not that great. So I am probably going to add soil on top and let that decompose. Those pieces decompose over time and let that re-soak into that bed. That's going to add nutrients to that bed right there. That's what I'm probably going to do with that. Okay, let's go go get our waifus. Now, just to let you know, I did even out a hole to put the fresh roots in both of these pots. So that way I don't have to fight with it later. I might have to redo a little bit more with this, but it's about time for us to dig out Cora and Lily and then get them retransplanted into here. First off, we're going to start with the support. And then what we want to do is we kind of want to like dig under and pull out it like a tree without damaging too much of the soil. We want to keep this. This is kind of important. And then we'll just go ahead and I'll see which one is deeper first, and then we'll go from there. So I'll just lay this down right here, and we'll pull out Lily. Okay. So it looks like we want to put Cora here in this pot, the first one right here. So we're going to put Cora in this one right here because Cora has the deeper roots. We'll just dig it down. Now, I don't know if y'all remember, my successful transfer rates are pretty low. So I guess I'm just gonna have to hope for the best and not get too nervous whether or not it propagates transfer slowly. If it doesn't, then I'm pretty much just screwed. All right, let's get Lily up. Lily's gonna go in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more soil on top just to give it some support on the side here. So that way it can fully grow those roots out and hopefully anchor itself down. So I'll just use the soil that I had over here in this bed and then just use that as support since it was already growing in that soil bed. And that should do it. My girls are looking pretty great. I'll go ahead and take these up to the apartment. And then, I don't know. I'll have to figure out what else to do from here. But I definitely feel being tired and exhausted at the same time. But I'm sure I will figure out what to do next. And, probably go from there. Okay, so I set up like all of my materials here, my cages, my propagation devices, extra failure of pak choi planters, soils. So I got this bucket. I was thinking, because I'm not really too sure how I want to pull out this parsley. I'm not sure if I should leave it in here. But I have agreed that I am going to move the kale over here into this container, so that way I can start mixing this up a bit, this bed, and I can get it extra moist and rich with nutrients with extra soil, and that way it'll ensure a better coating for when I start sticking in pak choi into this flower bed or this raised bed for this year. This year we're giving this a rest for the winter, so I'm not gonna use this extra planter. That is why we put the tomato plants of Howard and Steve into this bed to let them, I guess, decompose here. But I want to take out Kalia from this bed and put her in this bucket. So that's what we're going to do. So same technique like last time. I kind of want to just dig a perimeter up and pick it up into chunks like this. That looks like pak choi right here, actually. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm just going to go ahead and dig up soil from underneath and see what I pull up and what I don't pull up. So there's one, there's two, there's three, there's four, there's five, and six. So I'm not really sure how I want to go ahead and go about doing this, but I am going to go ahead and so I know what I want to do is I want to go ahead and mix up this soil in order to make room for this kale to be put in. So I'm going to kind of aerate the soil a little bit or break it up into smaller clumps. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it down into parts, if that makes sense. I'll leave it like this because I don't exactly have a way to, like, I guess, like, make it perfect, if that makes sense. But I will lay down bit by bit, and I think we'll kind of figure it out from there. So these are kind of together. So I think what I'll do, because I don't want to ruin the root, I'll just put them right here in their own little corner. Actually, I'm probably going to rip that off. This one is probably going to go in the middle. I did do it for my mental health. Okay, this is the big mama. It's actually also combined by a big part. So we'll put this one right down here, I think. Okay. We are gonna have to, it looks like we are gonna need some more soil though, I think. Let's just reuse this soil right here. And then never. All right, I'm not gonna water this at all. I'm gonna leave this as is, and so it should settle down into the soil. If I water it when it's going to rain for the next like day and a half or 2 days, it's gonna probably drown out just like my pak choi did. But this is kale we're talking about, and this is kind of really hardy and hard to kill out. So I think it should be fine as is. I know it doesn't look pretty, I know it doesn't look great, but you know, we didn't originally plan to have kale still, but this thing has been the hardiest looking plant we've ever had in our garden, and I think this belongs to stay. So we'll just leave it as is. But boy, this was a well spent day. I'm gonna go ahead and probably like till this a little bit more, and I'll probably add more soil on top for the last bit of the time we have today. Okay, so it is 18:15. That means in about 20 something minutes, we actually have to get going for dinner with Ma and Pa. But we are essentially done for the day. I was contemplating on whether or not to harvest out the parsley right now, but apparently it can survive up to 10 degrees in Fahrenheit. So for now, it can just chill right there. As for the bed, as you know, we got the kale in this pot. We got this bed all beautifuled up. It's going to decay, and then we can put pak choi in it later. Let's get downtown onto the other end of the camera. As for the beets, we will harvest out our beets after Friday night when they fully ripen, and we'll see what we get. That also goes for the russet potatoes and the sweet potatoes over yonder. And then we'll probably start growing some pak choi out here. I think we're going to attempt to grow pak choi with our seedlings, which I'll have to show you up in the apartment complex ASAP. But yeah, this parsley should do fine right out here. I can retransplant it later if I need to. I don't think it'll get below ever 10 degrees out here, so I could probably just leave it out here. It seems to be a-okay in this bottom end of the raised bed. but it is like super duper dark and I'm exhausted. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with my kale in here, and I'm really curious to see how many sweet potatoes and how many russet potatoes we're going to get. That's going to be it, I think. And I should have a vlog up right now. Or it should have been up by now. Before I leave for dinner, I wanted to show you this. So these are the little flower buds that my pak choi is now growing. So instead of it actually growing, it's just growing all of its energy into flowers. And it does look like a few of them are actually ready to be planted. But I cannot stick these saplings into the ground until the first frost, and they should be fine at that point. But everything else seems to be going pretty well into my indoor garden of my pak choi. I might start putting these outside soon as well to see if that grows in. But I do got the 2 pepper plants here, Cora+Lilly. Madeline, this is the plant that I was giving for Madeline, but I have to retransplant it, but I have to go to dinner. She's has to get a new pot for it so we can put it in something. So yeah.